Hello and welcome into Ansible Deep Dive and Multi-Vendor Networking. This video course is provided to you by orhanergen.net. In this video, we're gonna CRUD the FortiGate interfaces. So CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. So I think I made it in the favorite, yes, interfaces. So basically we have a single interface that is configured, port 1, that's all port 2, 3, and 4 is not configured. I only connected port 3 into this switch or even the network bridge. Only it is in up state, no IP, no VLAN, not at all. So in this video, we're gonna use multiple playbooks to create and delete, update the FortiGate interfaces. So the first playbook we're gonna use is A252A, get interfaces. We're gonna only have the predefined configuration. So we're gonna use the configuration facts, same as we did in the first and the previous playbook. The only difference will be in the selector. The selector will be system interface. If you recall, the selector was the system global, and in this case, no, it is system interface. You can see all the selectors within the documentation that we saw in the previous video. And this time I'm using the FortiOS access token, registering the result, printing the result, and finally I'm gonna create a file. I'm gonna convert this file, I'm gonna convert the CLI result to be a JSON, to a nice JSON. If you recall, a nice JSON means that this will be with indentation default, which is 4, I think. And the destination file name will be interfaces.json. So I'm gonna just have the interfaces and save them into a file under the name of interfaces.json. So Ansible playbook A252A, get interface. The first task, getting the interface configuration, printing the configuration. There is a lot of configuration, and of course it will be within a file. So let me open the file. The file will be interfaces.json, and this is the file. As you can see, the Ansible fact meta, we're gonna have the result, only the result. So those are the predefined configuration with each interface. You could have them all, read and modify whatever you need. This will help you a lot if you want to configure a device to see how the key and value will be invoked into the device. So let's go into the second playbook, which is the favorite one, get interface parse. Yes, I like parsing because I don't want to have all of this information that you saw. I need to have only a specific information. I just need to have a specific information. So I have two parsing mechanisms. The first one, I'm gonna parse only the interface name. So just gonna print what are the interface names that I have. So it's a basic one. So how I may do so, of course, with a JSON query. The JSON query will be under meta results. The result is a list. So I want to have all the content of the list. So whatever interfaces that I have, which is a star, so ports, links, loopbacks, VLAN, whatever interfaces, I'm gonna have them, and I'm gonna print only the name of the interfaces. So let me run the playbook, A252B, interface parse, maximize it. Good. Those are the predefined system interfaces within the FortiGate FortiOS. So there is FortiLink, L2T, NAF, port 1, 3, 4, and SSL root. If you want to verify, you could do it from the command line or just open the interfaces. You're gonna see it, the Fortinet, the ports, the NAT interface, the NAF, and that's it. Now, another thing to do, want to have not only the name, but I want to have the name, the IP, and the description of the interface. How I may do so? doing like this. So when you do the last dot, the last, level of parsing, you're gonna open a bracket. It's a list defining what parameters that you want. This is what could you find in the JSON query documentation within the Ansible. So I want to have the name, the IP, and the description. So I will just rerun the code, maximize screen. Good. As you can see, the IP and the description. There is no description because I didn't do any comment. There is a default IP in the Fortinet within the FortiLink, which is 10.255.1.1. This is the default one. So this is how you gather and parse the interfaces with Ansible. So let's go into A252C create interface. In this case, I'm using the configuration. Now I'm using the configuration module. I'm gonna specify the system interface. You can have this documentation. You could go and read and see what we have. So I'm specifying it. FortiOS system interface, specifying the VDOM, and specifying the state. Be careful about the state. In the FortiOS collection within Ansible, there are two values only in the state. I'm talking now currently in the start of 2022. Maybe in the future they will add more. Currently there are the state of present and the state of absent. So what is the meaning of that? The state of a present will mean to create or update a value, and the state of absent is to delete this value. So state of a present will mean only create or update, but if you want to delete, same as we will see it, we're going to use absent. So those are the values of the state. This is a mandatory value to invoke, same as the VDOM. The VDOM is a mandatory value to invoke in both of the upper and lower configuration. So in the FortiOS system interface, you must invoke the VDOM. In the system interface, you're gonna specify the VDOM. Why? Because in the configuration CLI, if you configured FortiGate previously using CLI, you must specify the VDOM that you are associating this interface with. So I'm gonna create an interface. This interface will be a loopback interface. So the name will be loopback4. The type loopback. The type will always be a lowercase. So in the type you have a loopback, you have a VLAN, you have multiple things. How to know what are the types that is allowed? You could just create it easily. So just to create this one, interface. In the interface you're gonna see the type. So all these types you're gonna have. And of course in the command line you could specify the type. So just take the type values from GUI or CLI or even from Ansible documentation. For the IP, I'm gonna have like a loopback IP prefix 32. So it is 192.168.404/32. The description will be created by Ansible, and the allow access will be only ping. So only ping a profile within this interface. Save the result, print the result. That's it. So Ansible playbook A252C create interface. Now it is created. If I want to verify, I'm gonna rerun the Ansible playbook A252B get interface with parse. In this case, I think I'm gonna have the interface with an IP and a description. As you can see, it is the first one, loopback4. It is an IP created by Ansible. If you want to verify from the GUI, just go back into the GUI itself of the device, do a refresh, and here it is under the loopback category, loopback4, an IP address, and only ping is here. So click it, you're gonna see the description or a comment. So the comment or description is created by Ansible. For the next playbook, which is A252D, which is delete, I'm gonna delete this loopback. How to do so? Very easily. as I mentioned, the state will be absent. So absent means delete. And the previous one, which is present, mean create or update. So here it is absent. And you only must provide two key end values, which is the VDOM itself and the name of the entity that you want to delete. So name, which is loopback4. So I'm gonna run the playbook, A252D, delete interface, deleted. If you want to verify, just go back, do a refresh, or use the parse playbook. There is no loopback. And this is how you delete an interface. Of course, you cannot delete a physical interface, only the logical interface that you create. Now, for the last playbook that we have in this video, which is changing an interface. So changing an interface or updating the configuration of an interface can be done also by using the state of a present. So in this time, I'm gonna specify port 4. So port 4, which is a physical port. I'm gonna change the description of port 4. I'm gonna just give it a description of DC switch. That's it. So Ansible playbook A252E, change an interface. It will go use the state of present, go into port 4, change the description to be DC switch, and then that's it. If I want to verify, I'm gonna just rerun the code Ansible playbook A252B, get interface parse, maximize the screen. Then I'm gonna see that the description of port 4 is changed to be DC switch. So in this video, we learned how to create, update, delete an interface, a physical one or even a logical one. And in the next video, we're gonna see another type of the interfaces, which is the VLAN. So that's all for this video. See you on the next one.